The Seahawks just won the Super Bowl, and somehow everyone still doubts them. But Sam Darnold may be about to unleash a nightmare. A champion with a new floor, a $132 million defense, and a season built to crush every prediction.
Pro Bowl cornerback Devin Witherspoon and the Seattle Seahawks agreed to a 4-year, $132 million deal, making Witherspoon the highest-paid cornerback in NFL history. He'll be a key piece of Seattle's defense as they look to repeat as Super Bowl champs, but they'll have their work cut out for them in a loaded NFC West. So the Rams have moved to an odds-on favorite in the NFC West, minus 105 odds according to DraftKings. And the Seahawks are next, plus 215, 49ers the third, plus 305. The Rams are the NFC favorites at about 3-1 odds right now, and Seattle has the next shortest odds at 6-1. What was that noise that you just heard?
Oh, that was the money from Devin Witherspoon getting $33 million a year, $100 million guaranteed.
Yeah, and his agent is also the agent for Christian Gonzalez, so we'll see if he gets his bags here soon. But, you know, this is the hardest division in football right now. The NFC West, from where you've got the Rams and then the team that beat them in the NFC Championship last year. And then there's the 49ers to talk about. So, Canty, are we disrespecting the Seattle Seahawks, not giving them enough respect, considering they just came off a Super Bowl win?
Hell yeah, we disrespecting them. They're champs until somebody beats them. And the part that is so egregious about what is going on is that the LA Rams have dominated the conversation. We just saw an odds-on favorite to win the NFC West. They're at plus 550 to win the title. The Seattle Seahawks have the fourth shortest odds, and their odds are twice as long as the team that they beat 2 of the 3 times they played last year and the team that they've beaten 3 of the last 5 times they've matched up. And that's across 2 different quarterbacks. So I think a lot of the disrespect toward the Seattle Seahawks centers around their quarterback, Sam Darnold, right? It can't be anything else. They returned 87% of the snaps from a year ago across offense, defense, and special teams. So basically, what odds makers are saying and what the better public is leaning on is the fact that Sam Darnold can't continue the run that we've seen over the last 2 years where he was the most winningest quarterback in all of football.
I think it goes back to exactly that with Sam Darnold, and I'm the problem. Let me be honest on that. I am the problem. I am still in a mode in August of figuring out how Sam Darnold got so good that he won a Super Bowl in February. I'm still not, I'm still not at the point where I understand how the guy that was seeing ghosts, he's got that label, we can't shed it. Indiana football, label, we can't shed it. Despite a championship, it is so hard to shed a label. And so Sam Darnold was the seeing ghost guy. So not only now are you saying he won a Super Bowl, now I should pick him to win 2 in a row? When no one has done that recently, when Josh Allen hasn't won 1, when Lamar hasn't won 1, it always comes back to the quarterback. And it comes back to the quarterback's ability to shed the label. And people like me are slow to come around to it, and that's the problem. That's where the disrespect comes from.
I agree with you guys 100%. I'm in my mind, I'm trying to think, all right, what are some of the other things that people may be pointing to with Seattle? Kubiak left, so they lost their offensive coordinator. Brian Fleury takes over there. You think about it, both running backs from a year ago aren't there. Kenneth Walker is now on the Kansas City Chiefs. Zach Charbonnet injured his knee, so don't know when he's going to be back. They lost some pieces on defense, Reek Woolen, but I'm right along with you. Like, I understand all the moves the Rams made, and they're penciled in Super Bowls, and everyone's talking about them. But Seattle was damn good, and defensively they were dominant. And I guess maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment because I'm also watching Hard Knocks, so I'm even more fired up about Seattle this season of watching the way McDonald interacts with all of their guys. But they're definitely being disrespected, but I think it's awesome. If you're Seattle, last year, you think about it, around this time, no one talked about them as potential contenders, even to win the division. You went and you won the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold. Now you win it, you come back, and still no one is talking about you. So McDonald can point to that in the team meeting room. We did everything they said we couldn't do, and they still don't believe us.
Yeah. That's real motivation. That isn't some drawn up thing that is fake. It's real motivation. They're not favored in their own division. They're not favored in the NFC, and they just came off of a championship. So we'll see if they're able to move forward and take all of the doubters down and win the NFC West and then win the NFC again. But
what if everyone has it completely backwards? The Super Bowl may not have been Sam Darnold's peak. It may have been the warning shot.
Sam Darnold's superpower, man, is even keel, right? Like he's the same kid, same guy, whether he gets traded from the Jets or he's acquired by the Vikings and crushes it and finds his new spot in Seattle and wins the Super Bowl. So I asked the question, what's he going to be like with the ring and the confidence and the knowledge? What's going to be this season in Seattle, in your estimation, for him, Jordan?
Well, there's a lot of things. I think with Sam, his superpower, the way I frame it, is just his ability to keep everything really simple. And Rich, you're really good friends with a lot of these guys over the years. Being a starting quarterback in the NFL is not a simple life. There's a lot going on. You get pulled in a million directions. And I think that's his superpower. And all the hard times that he went through in New York and Carolina and being a backup, that the self-confidence that he had that there'll be a time and a place where all I have to do is play to the best of my abilities and I'll be in every game with a chance to make a run at the end. That held true in Minnesota. It held true last year. The thing I'm really excited about is, most people, it's funny, I ask quarterbacks, I go, how many teams has Sam Darnold been on? Everybody guesses 3 or 4. You forget this is his 5th team, right? In like 9 years. And that's not because he clawed his way into the league. That's a 3rd overall pick in the draft. But this is his first offseason, I think in 5 or 6, where he just was on this team last year with these guys. So if you think about last March, not this past March, but the one before the Super Bowl,
right?
He was doing things like asking what we call this play. He was doing things like saying, "Hi, my name's Sam. Nice to meet you," to teammates, right? And the other thing is, and this is something that I do have expertise on, is the volume of throws on a new team is so much higher. It's almost like a draft year, where your season ends and then you immediately start throwing again, right? Because last year when he got to Seattle, free agency was in March, right? So he showed up in March. He's introducing himself to people. He's learning verbiage. He's learning the language. They're talking about entry-level things because he just entered. Now this offseason, having just one season under his belt with those guys, I would expect the floor to be how well he played at the end of last year and really throughout the entire year. I think that's the new floor. When you have this type of camaraderie, you have this type of, just experience of playing in games, solving problems, understanding how guys like things, understanding what we can and can't do. And so, you lose the running back and you lose the coordinator and you lose pieces. That's what happens when you win a Super Bowl. But the foundational elements of what made the Seahawks champions last year, I think, are all there. And I would expect Sam Darnold to have another fantastic season.
The Seahawks just won the Super Bowl. So why is everyone already betting against them? The Rams are now the -105 favorite to win the NFC West, while Seattle sits at +215. Los Angeles is also around 3-1 to win the NFC, compared with Seattle at 6-1. And somehow, the defending champions are being treated like the underdogs. Then Seattle made another statement. Devin Witherspoon signed a 4-year, $132 million contract with $100 million guaranteed, $33 million per year. The highest-paid cornerback in NFL history. So Seattle isn't acting like a champion that's preparing to fall apart. They're paying to keep their defense elite. But if Seattle is so talented, why does the entire conversation keep coming back to one player, Sam Darnold? That's the uncomfortable truth. People still remember the quarterback who was labeled seeing ghosts. But that quarterback eventually became a starter in Seattle and led the Seahawks to a Super Bowl. Now he's coming back with something he didn't have when he arrived: experience. Last time around, Darnold was learning the terminology, meeting teammates, and figuring out the offense. This time, he already knows the system. He already knows his teammates. He already knows what it takes to win with them. And that's why one analyst made a fascinating prediction. Darnold's performance from last season could become his new floor. If that's true, Seattle may have just discovered that its Super Bowl winning quarterback wasn't finished improving. And that's where the Seahawks' biggest advantage starts to become clear. Seattle isn't returning exactly the same roster. Clint Kubiak is gone. Kenneth Walker is now with Kansas City. Zach Charbonnet's knee injury creates questions in the backfield. And Seattle lost defensive pieces, including Tariq Woolen. Those are legitimate concerns. But here's the number that shouldn't be ignored. Seattle returned 87% of its snaps from last season across offense, defense, and special teams.
For a defending Super Bowl champion, that's massive continuity.
And now they've secured Witherspoon for the long term. So yes, there are losses. But the foundation is still standing. And that foundation is about to be tested in the nastiest division in football. The Rams are loaded. The 49ers are dangerous. And Seattle is the defending champion. Yet the Rams have completely dominated the preseason conversation. That's the part that feels disrespectful. Seattle has beaten Los Angeles 3 of the last 5 times they've played, and they've done it with 2 different quarterbacks. So why are the Seahawks suddenly being treated like the team chasing everybody else? Maybe the answer is simple. People don't trust Sam Darnold. They trust the Rams. They trust the 49ers. But they're still waiting for Darnold to prove that last season wasn't a fluke. And that's exactly where Seattle can turn disrespect into something dangerous. The Seahawks don't need everyone to believe in them. They've already shown what happens when nobody does. They're the defending Super Bowl champions. They have a quarterback with a new level of confidence. They've retained 87% of their snaps. They just gave Witherspoon $132 million to anchor the defense. And Mike McDonald now has the perfect message for his locker room. We did everything they said we couldn't do, and they still don't believe us. That's not manufactured motivation. That's personal. And maybe the biggest mistake the NFL is making is assuming the Super Bowl was Sam Darnold's peak. Because what if it wasn't? What if it was the warning shot? The Rams can have the odds. The 49ers can have the attention. Let everybody doubt Seattle. Because the Seahawks have already proven they don't need permission to win. And now they're coming back for another one.
Yo, mic check 1 to 2, -1, -2. Game over for this video, folks. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay in the huddle for more. This is NFL Madness, bringing the heat and signing out.